Welcome to Rise Above Performance Training, 15 Minutes of Strength, the show where we explore and discuss the vast landscape of strength to help all of us live our best and strongest lives. I'm your host, Doug Fiorinelli, and this is Episode 2, What to Look For in a Youth Training Program. I've been a trainer since 2001, and I've ran my gym, Rise Above Performance Training, since 2008. And one of the areas of training we focus on is the youth athlete niche. In this episode, I'm going to go over what parents, coaches, and athletes should consider and look for when choosing a youth strength and conditioning program. So I have 5 key areas that you want to consider when you're looking for programs for your young athlete, whether it's your child or your team, and what environment they should go into. So a lot of times we choose convenience over good. Living in the Bay Area, in the San Francisco Bay Area, traffic is brutal, especially when kids are in school and sports and people are going back to work and into the office. Commutes can be up to 45 minutes to an hour. So, choosing convenience sometimes because parents don't want to drive around can be something worth considering, when you're choosing something. However, just choosing that one gym down the road where they'll train anything and anyone may not be the best bet for you. So, no parent wants to drive more than they have to. They're already in the car a lot. And we do like to live a convenient life, that fits, get as much as we can in without sacrificing things to do things that we don't want to do, the mundane, driving too much or waiting in lines, things like that. I would say cast a little wider net when performing your initial search when you're looking for a place. If you're living in an area with a lot of traffic, chances are there's going to be a lot of gyms in that area as well, a lot of businesses. So, do a little search in your general area. And, not all gyms have these dedicated strength and conditioning programs that cater to either athletes and especially young athletes. You may, want to be a little bit leery of the person that says they train everybody. Yes, I think training in general, basic strength stuff, how to do push-ups, how to do squats, sure, they're pretty much all the same. But then again, having a relationship with that client is also important. Talking to an adult who wants to lose weight is much different than talking to a young kid and getting them to buy in with a strength and conditioning type program. So look for places like that actually specialize and have success in training youth athletes. And what I mean is, in terms of success, I don't necessarily mean, this kid got a D1 scholarship or 99% of these kids are going pro level, things like that, which would be pretty amazing. Look for ones that have successful kids, have kids that stick around for a while, have places that refer other people to these places. That is a good successful program. Some programs have integrated strength and conditioning programs run by coaches themselves or outside trainers. Let's say you're on a baseball team. The coach sometimes will say, yeah, we have strength and conditioning. So it's kind of all this one-stop shop. They can justify charging a larger price, but also they keep the kids with them a lot longer. Again, not necessarily a bad thing. However, I don't think people can be all things to other people. You're not going to ask me to teach a kid how to hit better. I know the basics of swinging a baseball bat or a softball bat, but I wouldn't know beyond big glaring things like, dropping their shoulder or turning their head or pulling their body out of the box, how to help a kid hit better, whether it's turning the wrist or using the body to rotate a little bit better. So I wouldn't expect a coach to go beyond the basics with training. A lot of them do circuit training, like they see CrossFit or they see some other types of things, and they try to get these kids, just moving around like a kind of low-level PE class, and they're not really learning. They're just kind of maybe sweating a little bit and getting going, but it may not be as beneficial. So you also want to go to someone who kind of knows what they're doing and specializes in that type of thing. The second big thing you want to think about are the goals. not only the goals of the child, but of the parent. And this is for both the coach and the potential client. Now, the younger the kids are, they may not have goals, specific goals, and they don't need to. It's just like, okay, do they want to be here, or their parents forcing them to be here? Just get them moving, teach them the proper thing, and set up a good foundation on how to do these things so they don't hurt themselves going forward. And yeah, they'll see the benefits and strength gain and probably some confidence going into games and into their sporting events. Now, parents' goals can be completely different. They can be, I want my kid something simple like just to learn basic stuff and to get stronger, to get quicker, or to jump higher. I get, kind of a lot of things like that. Some are injury prevention related. Honestly, that's kind of on the lower end, though, of things, which I think that would be pretty much on the higher end, especially for certain sports like soccer and basketball, where ACLs can be, quite common, especially in the younger athlete as they're growing and getting stronger. So I would check both the parent's goals and the child's goals. If you're the parent or child, like, see how the trainer reacts to your goals, if they're just, oh yeah, we can do that, or this and that. And also, as the trainer, see what the parent's goals are. You're gonna have to talk to your parent in a way that you kind of reinforce what they want to do, but also set expectations. So if they think they're going to have an elite 8-year-old kid in 2 months, kind of subvert expectations, say, hey, you know what? Our goal is to build a foundation. And we're going to take your child and teach them the basics. So, they'll build a foundation as they get older. They'll progress with these exercises and progress with weight and progress with speed, and it will help them out on the field. The biggest thing right now is learning how to do the movements and gain confidence so they're out in here, but also outside, they'll have that confidence and they'll perform better. But also, injury prevention is a huge key. We don't want to see any of our kids getting hurt. We also don't want to see them hurt in here or out on the field or in the future. And the more conscious they are with their body movement and awareness, the less likely that is to happen, especially in a non-contact kind of setting. Which leads into my next point, is expectations. So what are the expectations for the child? And it kind of goes along with the child's goals. And when you ask them the goals, the expectations are kind of underlying in there. They'll say, oh, I want to jump higher or faster, or, I had kids that say, I want to learn how to do a clean or a deadlift. So those can be part of what they want to learn. Now, a barbell clean, and if they've never lifted a weight before, you have to set their expectations and say, yes, that is definitely possible. We have to learn, one, how to move the legs well, how to hip hinge, how to have the correct shoulder mobility and wrist flexibility to do a clean, and we're going to build up to that. So, in my program, we usually have 3 to 4 week program blocks, and we build upon those, like within the block in terms of changing the weight or changing the repetitions, and then we change the exercises as the athlete progresses. So we will say something like, yeah, these are all the prerequisites to help you learn to clean, but then we're going to, it's going to take a few weeks to get stronger and build up upon that. And then you'll see, if you give it time and patience, you'll have a better clean because you checked all these boxes going forward. Same thing with the parents. So parents, maybe will throw out the generic goals of faster and jump higher. And a lot of times it'll come from the coach. The coach says he needs to be X. Okay, now you have the coach's expectations and the parents' expectations, and you don't want to put too much pressure on a kid. So what I, usually do is, can the strength and conditioning coach, kind of meet those needs and give you a roadmap of how to meet those expectations. You got to see if you really have a trainer or kind of a sales representative. They should be able to honestly convey what to expect during the program and, the potential results they're going to see. At my gym, some places do and some places don't. I do a free assessment for all athletes, and people say, oh, I don't give anything away for free. But personally, it's for me to see how the athlete moves. So that way, if they want to stick around, I know exactly what to put in their program and how they're going to move. Also, if they have injuries and things, I get to know these things ahead of time and see, if I'm dealing with something like an ankle injury, like, is this going to cause a problem with their squat or their deadlift or even their jumping ability down the road? So I know. But it's also for the athlete and the parents to kind of give an idea of what we do at the gym, so that way they know what they're getting into, and they know, with no skin off their back if that is the right place for them to be as well. I want everyone to be in the right spot and want to be comfortable. That is the number one goal, starting out. I have had people that have come in and not come back, and it's just not the place for them. Some people like big gyms with a lot of kind of vibe and loud music and big team things and people lifting monstrous amounts of weight, and that is fine. There are gyms like that. And I also have people that really like the small atmosphere that we provide. They like that, and the individual attention. So that is kind of what makes our gym a little bit different, but also not for everybody. So this segues into what type of setting the athlete and the parent want. Is it a team or individual type setting? The right gym and program is often determined not by the specific program itself, the weights or the sets and reps or the exercises choose, but by the comfort level of the individual. So the more comfortable the parent and the individual are with the setting that they're in, the more they're going to put into that program and the more they'll get out of it. Training is a constant state of feedback, not only for the person doing the training, but the coach and the parent. The feedback comes from the movement, but also the emotional response to the movements as well. Some people like more personal attention. Some people like a smaller field so they can focus on themselves rather than worrying about what another athlete is doing. And some people want more people around to kind of feed off the energy and the vibe and to see other people doing things and be like, yeah, I got to do it that way, or that's what I want to do. And some people, do okay in these big groups and are able to excel in these big groups, and whether they're in a constant competitive mindset or if the small group where they need to kind of go inward and really take their time. So I think the competitive ones are the ones that excel quickly and catch on to things quickly, and the internally competitive people want to take a step back and really dig deeper cognitively into these kind of exercises and really build up and learn how to do things well. Lastly, it's going to come down to the amenities of the gym and the programming. Bigger and fancier facilities are not necessarily best. And I say this not because I have a small, not too fancy facility. I try to keep a clean, well-equipped environment, but the big fancy gadgets and the turf tracks and, all the colored plates and things like that make a good impression, and they do give the impression of success, but you want to focus more on the programming and whether it's right for your person. So adding all these things together, you want a knowledgeable and experienced trainer and trainers in that program. You also want the ability to assess the individual demands daily. So in a big program, you have like 20 kids, it's hard to kind of get the most out of everybody. You're going to kind of be limited to the common denominator. I have the luxury of when every kid comes in, I can read them really quickly. Do they look energetic? Do they look tired? Do they look like something bad happened at school? Do they look injured when they walk? And I can adjust the program, kind of pry a little bit out of them and change the program based on what we need to do today to be successful. Those are important things too that you may not get at a big facility with a lot going on, and that might be important for the parent and the athlete. There's also proper progression of the program. So a lot of places will give individual programs, or they give a big group program and change it all the time. Is that important to you? I think personally it is, especially with people with injuries or prior histories. It's very important to progress. Or if you're having an event that has a specific date, like a triathlon or something like that, that you want to count backwards to and really kind of fine tune the programming, or a competition, something like that, that is very important. And I just think, instilling confidence is the number one priority at any facility. And yes, it can come from those big mega facilities with a lot of fancy equipment. And confidence can be there, like, hey, I train at X Globo Gym. This is the place where I'm at, and I'm confident and I'm strong, versus the other place where you can constantly give feedback between the trainer and the individual and say, hey, Johnny, Susie, you guys did a great job. You increased this, you did that, and you did a great job today. And tomorrow or the next day, we're going to come back and focus on this exercise, and we're going to try to bring it here. So maybe more individualized confidence. But either way, you want to find those places that will bring the confidence to the kid and give them success down the road. So there are the 5 things I think are important when searching for a youth training program. I want to thank you all for joining me today. If you found the information valuable, and if you like the content and want to hear more, please consider subscribing to this podcast. Also, check out the Rise Above Performance Training YouTube channel. I have videos, not only of the podcast, but also, exercise tutorials and other things on there. Check out riseabovestrength.com and sign up for the monthly newsletter, where I kind of distribute this content to you guys. All the show notes will be in the information down below. And thanks for joining me. And until next time, remember, all the strength you need is created on the inside and reinforced on the outside. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next time.